Good afternoon, Italy. Good morning, Denver. Today we are with Christopher Malone. Hey, Christopher, how are you?
Doing well, Francesca. How are you?
I'm okay, and I want to say something about you. How old are you, and where you come from?
I am over 20. Now I'm 48. And I actually grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and about 20 years ago moved here to Denver.
Okay, I want to speak about your music, and I want to ask you, how did your music journey begin?
Well, I've been playing music since I was a kid. I started taking piano lessons when I was 5 years old, and then and studied piano for a very long time. After that, I started playing trombone and string bass. Um, and this is all throughout school. And so that's really where it began. I came from a very musical family. So I had three brothers and three sisters, and everybody played something. So it's a very musical household. My mom was also a musician. So it was just something that was part of my upbringing, part of my family. And then when I got older, I started playing in bands, just local bands. I played mostly bass, but also spent time playing in little marching bands, like trombone or tuba. But it was just always surrounded by music. And so then about 5 years ago here in Denver, I joined a group called Psychedelic. It's an industrial band. And then the backup singer, Sarah, and I decided to come up with something a little different, influenced by the music of psychedelic. So instead of being electronic music or like an electronic hybrid, we decided to do something that was more acoustic based, but still with that same kind of drive and that same kind of feel. And that's where Paranoid Image came from.
Okay. Do you speak about more musical instrument that you play? And I want to know which musical instrument are you most attracted to and why?
That I'm most attracted to?
Yeah.
I would have to say I'm most attracted to accordion, but I can't play it. So the ones that I can play, I would say probably it's I don't know, either piano or bass. Piano because it's a lot more expressive. I could do so much more with it. That's why I play piano in Paranoid Image. Bass, that's where I feel like I'm kind of just freeing myself, keeping the rhythm, doing some cool things, whether it's funky or just like a heavy bottom. I'm able to express myself a little differently by playing bass. So they're real close. I think maybe piano wins.
Okay, and now I want to speak about Paranoid Image, your band. Mm-hmm. And I ask you, how did your collaboration start with Paranoid Imaging?
Sure. Like I mentioned before, I had met Sarah Geller. She is the lead singer of Paranoid Image. I met her when in the band Psychedelic. She was the female vocalist for Psychedelic. And again, that's more of an industrial goth style band with a lot of electronics, real instruments too, but this kind of hybrid. But Sarah has such an incredible voice. We decided we wanted to do something different, which was to create music that incorporated more acoustic instruments, all acoustic instruments, no drum set, so all hand percussion, and then even folk style instruments that would be used in a way that they're not typically used. And yet we still wanted to keep that same drive, that danceability, that kind of something different that we had developed with Psychedelic. So, but going all acoustic. So that's when we decided to do that. We had met a mandolin player and brought her on, our guitarist, our hand percussionists. And then what we wanted to do is we started creating music that touched a lot of different genres. So, as you know, we have one song that is a bossa nova. We have a song that is a disco song. We have one that's more of a folk style ballad. We have new music now that we've written that hit like a Middle Eastern tone. Another one is more of a, we have a grunge style song. So it's like we hit all these different styles of music, but keeping that same instrumentation that we developed as Paranoid Image, if that makes sense.
And I have some curiosity about Paranoid Imaging because I love your song. And I want to know, how are your song born?
The song Ukrainian Lullaby?
Yeah.
That's a very beautiful song. So everybody in our band writes lyrics. Some people write entire songs. Some people write lyrics and another person writes the actual music. Our mandolin player, Lauren Savell, she had written that song a couple years ago, and she based it just on a real true life experience. So she writes beautiful music. She's very good at expressing her feelings through music. But yeah, that song was written by her and then recorded by the whole band.
Okay, now I want to speak about you. And regarding your character, I would like to know your strength and your defect. One.
Okay. Let's see. For defects, there's a lot of those, so I could pick one. I guess I'm known to be. Here's something that bothers me. I'm known to be a sassy. Do you know what sassy is? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes, but it's very rare. Usually really a nice guy, but sometimes I can be a little sarcastic and quick-witted when I'm pushed too far, but that's very rare. I'd say strength is that I'm very driven. When I set my mind to something, I can get very single-focused and really like to put all my energy and time into accomplishing whatever my goals are, which is exactly what I'm doing with Paranoid Image.
Okay. I want to know if you have only one word for describe your career.
If I only had one what?
Your career in one word, your music career.
Let's say eclectic.
Okay, it's a strange word. Why you say eclectic?
It's a strange word because I'm a strange person. I say eclectic because in the course of my entire music career, starting from when I was a kid, I have played in bands of every style of music. When I was a teenager, I played in a polka band in Pittsburgh. I've played in a marching band. I have played in acoustic, like folk bands. I've played in, psychedelic, an industrial band, the one where I wear all sorts of makeup. And then you have Paranoid Image that in itself is very eclectic in its own style. It kind of represents my music career.
I want to ask another thing to you because you are a great musician.
Thank you.
And you have a great career. And I want to ask you what advice you can give to young musicians.
Yes, there's a lot of advice, but what I would say the most important thing is to, music is an art and it's a way to express yourself. And, there's so much focus that can be put on being amazing or being good or being the best or being great or what are people going to think. That should not matter one bit. It starts with your being able to express yourself through your singing or through your instrument. Always strive to be better, but for yourself, not because you're trying to please other people. If you want to make music your career, then there are certain steps you're going to need to follow, but never lose yourself when doing that. Each person's unique, and the way you express yourself through your music is also very unique. So never lose
that. Okay. I thank you for beginning with me and for your time.
And it's been my pleasure.
I want to ask you, when your band Paranoid Imagine have a new single?
Well, we should be having a new single come out before the end of the year. We've been playing a lot of shows lately. As a matter of fact, we have one this Friday that just dropped their lap at one of the biggest theaters in Denver. So every time we start to try to focus on some more of our newer songs, next thing you know, we're practicing for another show. There are probably about 5 or 6 songs right now that we have that are not on our current album. There's a couple that we do want to get out there as singles. So I'd say pay attention for at least a couple Paranoid Image singles before the end of the year.
Okay, I hope you come here again for present your new single of Paranoid Imagine with
Absolutely.
all of the band.
That would be great.
Good luck for your career. It's a fantastic career. I hope all musicians listen this interview can have a great career, because you are a great musician. You have done some advice for young musicians, and I thank you very much for coming here.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you a lot. I say goodbye to all the people are here and listen to this interview.
Okay, thank you. Bye, Italy.
Bye, Denver. Thank you.
Thank you.